Hi guys, so I was sitting here in my apartment here wanting to talk to you all about Daughters of the King. So if you hear my dog barking or you may hear my son say, "Hey mom," just understand that the mission never stops and life is happening around us as the mission is going on. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the reasons why I was inspired to create Daughters of the King. So basically, growing up as a young woman in the church, I made some turns that I'm not so proud of, you know, and I had to ask the Lord to forgive me for those things. But while going through some of those things, I felt so alone, even though I come from a very strong family structured, I just did not want to admit that I had fallen, you know what I mean, that I felt vulnerable or that I felt weak, being as how the women in my family are extremely strong. So I battled with identifying my emotions. Then I later found out that I suffered from an anxiety disorder. And then I entered into some marriages that were unhealthy for me, and I realized it was because I didn't know my own worth. I didn't know how to set healthy boundaries, so I allowed these people to come into my lives, and I tried to be everything to these two individuals during my marriages with these two different men, and realized that I didn't even really know who I was and what I wanted, and I realized that I was giving only in the relationship emotionally, and that they were very detached and very self seeking and very self focused, involved, however you want to word it. I also watched my family members suffer with drug addiction, alcoholism. I've had family members suffering from chemical dependencies, and yet still now have family members battling with these issues. So I have had family members that have been sexually abused, sexually assaulted. I've had friends. So, and I've also worked in government funded facilities, and I've seen how people work hard all their lives, have Social Security taken out of their income, only to live in these places where they consume all of their money just by, just their rent and their basic upkeep, to be able to be in these facilities. And then they lack money to sustain them throughout the month, to have their basic necessities and to get proper clothing. And a lot of people there are just forgotten. People leave them there and get too busy with life, or people just leave them there because they have no other family members and they become wards of the state. So they're just existing and struggling while battling with physical and mental sicknesses, physical and mental disabilities. And it was very devastating when I was working as a caregiver, witnessing these people struggle. So I always wanted to do more, and I tried to do more when I was working there, with the humble income that I was making. And I watched a lot of the staff members, my coworkers, mimicking my behavior, doing for these individuals because they did not have. I want everybody to understand that we're going to go through challenges. We're going to go through different milestones in our life. Some of us are going to suffer from mental health, disorders, and that you don't have to be ashamed. There are going to be women that get in unhealthy relationships that they are being physically or emotionally abused in, and they're going to need a sisterhood. They're going to need a covering. They're going to need a navigator, a person to be there to tell them, hey, it's okay. I went through this. I recovered from this. Hey, I'm a part of this organization called Daughters of the King. We're connected with these agencies that they can further assist you with your mental health, or housing or things that you need. But I'm here to support you. We're having this fundraiser here. We're going to help you get connected with some community resources. We're going to offer you some hygiene care, some moral support, coping skill box and ways to manage coping skills. We're going to have a sisterhood, a covering, and a safe haven for you to be a part of, so that you don't have to feel ashamed, or afraid or judged. Having people that battle with sexual abuse. I've had some members that I'm a part of my organization that has battled with that. So we are, well, I shouldn't say pastor because he's so much more. Bishop T.D. Jakes had a book about their inborn instincts, and he used in a part of a chapter in his book, the example of the zoologist and the example of the native. So we are happy being the third person, being the native, being the navigator. We're the person that, you know, have experienced a lot of these things, and so we can give that you know, that personal touch, that experience, that peer support. We believe in God strongly, so we can also introduce them to a coping skill called prayer, introduce them to a Bible that we read that we find to be truth, that we find to have everything that you need in it to cope with things, as well as helping them link up with natural resources, with psychologists, doctors, and things. So we are actively trying to establish relationship with agencies so that we can be able to be more fluent in what we're trying to you know, preach and try to do in our mission statement. And we are looking for donors to, you know, join us so that we can develop this organization in its fullness. This organization is still very much so in its infant stage, but we are excited and we are motivated and we are eager to learn, but most of all, we are eager to help. We believe in paying it forward, because when we were in our darkest hours, we had somebody, whether that was a relative or a complete stranger, or we watched something on TBN, or went to church and heard a sermon, you know, or heard about this awesome person that we could connect with through this organization that could help us learn how to cope with our emotions and help identify maybe something that we don't know that we're dealing with that may have a name, like an anxiety disorder, depression, or, you know, or something dealing with the mental health, you know. And we have a realistic approach to you know, dealing with the women in crisis. We do not emphasize being perfect. We emphasize being humble, you know, and learning from your mistakes and not allowing your past to define you, and let you know that you are more than your circumstances, you are more than your trauma, and that at any moment you have the ability to take back that night, that moment, that afternoon, to take back your life and move forward. And we just want to hold your hands as you're going through this process. So this is some of the reasons why I believe so heartily in Daughters of the King, because we are happy being the third person, the native, the navigator, and we just want to be a help to the community. You know, I've had people that I've known that are homeless, you know, and have walked the journey of being homeless. I have a cousin that was homeless in her teenage years, and you know, she talked about the struggles of being out there. Many people feel forgotten and lost, and like nobody loves them, and they're battling with mental health, they're battling with chemical dependencies, they're battling, you know, with trauma, being sexually and physically abused, and just kind of ran off and just reinvented themselves, or just simply got lost and couldn't find their way back home. So we're here. We want to be a safe haven, be the third person, the navigator, you know what I'm saying, the hand up, you know what I'm saying, the support system. So we actively invite anybody to join us that can help make our mission come true. And we are, like I said, we emphasizing that we are operating in grace and mercy, and that we have a God that loves us despite us. Our organization is very focused on, you know, dealing with women in trauma, but we're very focused on dealing with what concerns the woman, which is the woman's spouse, her children, you know, her grandchildren, her mother, her father, her sisters, her brothers, her nieces, her nephews, you know, her uncles, her aunties, her cousins, her church, you know what I'm saying, her community, and most importantly, God. And so we want to pay it forward, and that is our mission. You know, we've been there, we've done that, and somebody helped us, and so we're here to offer people a hand up, to offer people a hug, and, you know, and it's just a safe place to be, you know. We aspire to do many things. Check out our website. I will post that above this video here. And just, you know, come join our team. Help us out if you want to connect with us. If you have any resources that will be beneficial to helping our mission. If you know some people that are interested in, you know, becoming donors to help us, you know, progress in our efforts, we would greatly appreciate it. You all have a blessed night.